inauguration of UJF lab facility on artificial intelligence for judiciary and discussion on modeling and data-based innovation in judiciary, particularly in terms of activities at IIT Delhi. Today, we have among us Honourable Justice of Supreme Court, Shri S.R. Bhat ji. We welcome you, sir. We also have retired Justice K.G. Balakrishnan ji, retired Justice Poonam Srivastav ji, Justice Vijay Lakshmi ji, retired Justice A.K. Srivastav ji, Shri S.K. Srivastav ji from UJF. I thank all the eminent guests for their gracious presence. We also welcome Professor Shri Krishnadev Rao, Vice Chancellor, National Law University, Delhi, Professor Shri V. Ram Gopal Rao, Director IIT Delhi, Dr. Anil Wali, Dr. Mausam, Professor Brijesh Lal, Professor Namesh Bolia, and all the members and patrons of UGF and IIT present here. Thank you for gracing the occasion. I would request our chief guest and other dignitaries to begin the inaugural ceremony with the lighting of the lamp first. Thank you, sir. I would like to invite Professor V. Ram Gopal Rao, Director IIT Delhi, to address the event. Over to you, sir.
I welcome Honourable Justice S. Ravindra Bhat as the chief guest of this evening. Thank you, sir, for taking time to be with us. I am glad to welcome Justice Retired K.G. Balakrishnan, Justice Retired Poonam Srivastava, Justice Vijay Lakshmi, Honourable Justice Retired A.K. Srivastava, Professor Sri Krishna Deva Rao, Vice Chancellor, National Law University, Delhi, former Chief Secretary Goa R.K. Srivastava ji, Shri S.K. Srivastava, and all members and patrons of UJF and all my colleagues from IIT Delhi and NLU present here. So we are very happy, sir, to have you with us. In fact, as you might know, IIT Delhi now has about 11,000 students. We crossed our 10,000 student mark last year, and we have now 31 academic units. One good thing that has happened now at IIT Delhi is 60% of our students are masters and PhD. So IITs are known for their undergraduate students, but now we have transitioned to a postgraduate institution. For example, today on this campus, you will find about 3,500 PhD students. So there is a lot of research that is happening now. In fact, for research impact, IIT Delhi has always been among the top 100 institutions in the world. So there is a lot of good research happening, but one thing which we also want to see is more relevance to this research and more impact of our research in the society. So that is what we have all been striving for. Otherwise, all this research ends up as research papers in good journals and all that. But in the society, our visibility is still a bit poor. I think that is one thing which we are trying to change very consciously at IIT Delhi. And for that, we realize the interdisciplinary research, multidisciplinary research is very important. And in fact, at IIT Delhi, we call it bringing unlike minds together, people who don't think alike, people with different attitudes, or people with a different disciplinary background, or people even from different cultures. So even the internationalization is something that we have taken very seriously. And about 2 years ago, we have taken steps to bring law and technology together. And it happened because of Daksh Society from Bangalore approaching us for creating a Daksh Center of Excellence. That was our first foray into creating an academic unit at IIT Delhi. And of course, we have had many faculty members from IIT Delhi, from computer science department, from mechanical engineering, particularly operations research group, School of Public Policy, Humanities and Social Sciences department. So from all these departments, there were individual faculty members working on aspects related to law. But now after creation of this Daksh COE, so now we have many people coming together and working with the people from the law background. And another good thing that has happened is after Professor Krishnadeva Rao joined NLU in Delhi, so he has approached us. I give all the credit to him for pushing us to create more collaborations between NLU and IIT Delhi. Now we are, in fact, funding our faculty. Similarly, he is funding his faculty to collaborate with each other. So there will be many joint research projects between NLU and IIT Delhi. So that's also one good thing that's happening. We're also looking at a joint supervision of PhD students. Very soon we should have many PhD students working between NLU and IIT Delhi, and also courses which can be taken by our students in NLU and vice versa. So many of these things are now beginning to happen. We also have a new school of AI. We call it Sky, and that's also now growing very fast and becoming a very prominent AI research center in the country. So with all of this happening and with the law becoming one of the focus areas for IIT Delhi, I think the future looks bright. We will need support of many of you for us to become impactful. Your advice at various stages will be very useful for us. Now, some of the projects we are looking at in all of these through all of these collaborations is analyzing the reasons for delays, case flow management, intelligent scheduling and listing of cases, case outcomes and duration prediction, case reading and simplification, analysis and design of specific systems and types of cases such as virtual courts and other kind of cases. So some of these are being taken up right now. And we are also now, as part of the UJF, the Universal Justice Foundation, one of the focus areas for the UJF collaboration is applying artificial intelligence techniques to the various law-related problems. And since we have now at least close to 50 faculty members at IIT Delhi who have an interest in the AI areas from different disciplinary backgrounds, so that's also something which is now beginning to happen. So I think next few years you will see very concrete actions, very concrete steps from IIT Delhi side in bringing technology and law together. And very soon we may even start some academic programs jointly with NLU. So I think future looks bright, and we are quite excited about this possibility. And we are looking forward to all your help and support to make this to make our efforts useful to the judicial community. Thank you very much for taking time to be with us.
Thank you for your valuable words, sir. I request our next guest, Justice K.G. Balakrishnan, former Chief Justice of India, to say a few words. Over to you, sir.
Brother Justice Ravindra Bhat, Justice Poonam Srivastava, other distinguished professors and other distinguished people in the IIT Delhi, and other distinguished guests, friends. It's very interesting to participate such a event because how the artificial intelligence could be made use of for judicial work and development. After the, I was really, it is shocking to think of what will happen to our judicial system after this pandemic is over. Large number of cases are likely to be in various courts benching, and the time would be, even if 24/7 work is started, then only it would be difficult to give at least fair justice to the common man of this country. So we as judges have to work hard, and under such circumstances, if any sort of help in the case law management or case posting or simplification of any methods, it would be a very, very welcome thing. And I am happy that IIT is doing in collaboration with the national law universities and doing its best. Is certainly this artificial intelligence can provide a big contribution to the development of judiciary and judicial system in this country, and the way in which and India is throughout the world, wherever we go in any part of the world, when you see the scientific community, we see the product of IIT of India, whether it is Kharagpur, Delhi, or Madras, or the Indian students that passed out. The students who passed out of these IITs are the best talented people who had this work. So we should make use of this opportunity in a great extent in India also, and I am sure that would be done. This there are very, very talented people to speak, and Mr. Justice Bhat is there to speak on this subject. And with this, I wish all success for the future contribution. We expect great contribution on this subject, and I am sure that it will be done. Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting to this one.
Thank you for your blessing, sir. I now invite retired Justice Poonam Srivastava ji, Working President, UJF, to introduce Universal Justice Foundation. Over to you, ma'am.
Ma'am muted, please.
It's not very urgent. Maybe the swearing in is going.
Kindly unmute yourself.
Ma'am, you need to unmute yourself.
Ma'am, the same mic that you used to mute yourself just a while ago, same thing you have to click again.
Is it all right now?
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
we can
We can
hear
hear
you
you.
very well.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for the interruption. Good evening, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here and to welcome all of you. The Chief Patron of UJF, Honourable Shri Balakrishnan, former CJI of India, Chief Guest of the function, Honourable S. Ravindra Bhat, Judge Supreme Court of India, Director IIT Delhi, esteemed friends and colleagues, and all well-wishers. It is a privilege to present in this August gathering organized by UJF and IIT Delhi on artificial intelligence and its applicability in judicial arena to promote quick redressal of justice and meet the social cause so dear to the heart of us. In fact, this is the call of the day. I welcome you all to, on behalf of Universal Justice Foundation, to this inaugural ceremony of our first lab on artificial intelligence to be developed for developing softwares, applications, and platform. Sorry. Software applications and platform for ensuring speedy justice to common citizen and help to our overburdened judiciary. Justice Balakrishnan and Justice Sundaram is fully aware of the problems that the judiciary is facing these days because of this overwork and multiple litigation. I would like to take this opportunity to mention about other future projects taken by UJF in field of legal awareness campaign in collaboration with IIT Delhi under Government of India scheme of Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. Universal Justice Foundation has been established as an NGO with objective to seek the welfare of the society as a whole and judicial issues in particular. Through welfare projects, technology developed by path-breaking introduction of these new researches with scientific institutions like IIT and famous institutions. This concerted efforts and its outcome will go a great deal ease to the issues of pertaining to large and needy segments of the society, to rural and far-flung areas of this great country. I have been informed that Universal Justice Foundation is in process of collaboration with Chennai, Kanpur, BHU IIT, and other renowned institutions for initiating research work to create self-reliant India by using artificial intelligence as a tool to achieve some important goals, which are as firstly to unclog the huge pending cases in the courts of a country. UJF further proposes to work on innovation projects
I think we've lost the connection with Poonam ji.
Ma'am,
So
we
we'll-
lost you. We're not able to hear you.
So, next. So moving on. Thank you, ma'am. I request Professor Shri Krishnadev Rao, Vice Chancellor, National Law University, Delhi, to address the gathering. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Honorable Justice Ravindra Bhat ji, Judge, Supreme Court of India, Professor Ram Gopal Rao Garu, Director, IIT Delhi, Justice K.G. Balakrishnan ji, distinguished invitees and members of the Universal Justice Foundation, colleagues and friends. Over the past 2 decades, the modern technology, along with the proliferation of internet, has transformed the human society. And we see the advent of the artificial intelligence further promises further transforming the society by enabling innovation that can potentially solve some of humanity's most complex challenges. As always in the lawyers field and the legal policy, we say that technology is more proactive and law and the policy follows after that. But this is one area, and last we could see last decade, and particularly with the E-Committee of the Supreme Court, we could see that much more proactive measures have been taken to integrate technology into the justice delivery system. The E-Committee of the Supreme Court has already made a commendable progress in the digitalization of the courts and various judicial processes under phase 1 and phase 2 of the initiative. And we have seen the roadmap, the recent roadmap for the phase 3 of the e-courts project. It's a significant step forward, which will definitely help transform the justice delivery in India. In fact, last 2 decades, the legal academia, legal professionals, and the Indian judiciary have been making a concerted efforts to address the docket explosion or pendency and several other things. And I think that is at one level, and technology is coming at a much more useful level. Particularly, the developments in the information communication technology, especially the artificial intelligence, we could see more significant inputs can come from the perspective of the critical democratic functioning, such as justice delivery system, particularly the administrative tasks, which form a crucial part of any judge, that responsibilities can be simplified by use of AI, and also helping the management of caseload or scheduling hearing dates. The case management and alternative dispute resolution has really developed in India, and we have been using at several levels. And globally also, we have seen AI systems are also being used within the judicial system to undertake much more complex tasks, such as particularly providing support for research work. Maybe in future that will help. Of course, there are many benefits that come with leveraging AI technology in the judicial system, as we have already seen that case and docket management and enhanced e-discovery. But there's a great deal of work we also need to do, particularly in the context of the protecting the rights and the several key concerns which will come during the process of AI regulation. The Center for Communication and Governance at the National Law University, Delhi has been involved for the last decade in looking at the national, international level. Several issues we are looking at, particularly as the significant impact and consequences and the rights of those involved. It's therefore essential to develop regulatory and evolutionary frameworks that may require adoption of risk management, risk assessment mechanisms, which are, of course, should be in consonance with the fundamental rights and constitutional values and ethos. There's a need for robust personal data protection framework to protect the fundamental rights and the freedoms. Maybe the Justice Ravindra Bhat sir is here. So maybe the Supreme Court, the E-Committee may think about setting up a data protection and privacy office within the judiciary. That may be examined in future. But as a NLU Delhi and legal academia, we welcome. I think this is timely necessary. And we also have now signed an MOU with the IIT Delhi. So we are in the process of looking at what are the various steps of intersection of technology and law, how we should integrate into the teaching and research. In future, as the Director IIT Delhi has already mentioned about that, we will undertake several research projects, interdisciplinary. The new education policy 2020 encourages and facilitates interdisciplinarity. I think we look forward to work with all of you in integrating technology into the teaching, research, public service, particularly in the access to justice system, how we can reach to the several of the millions of the marginalized communities in India and to cater to the unmet needs. So I welcome this initiative of the IIT Delhi, the Universal Justice Foundation, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I please request Mr. R.K. Srivastav, former Chief Secretary Goa and Executive Member UJF, to say a few words. Over to you, sir.
Honourable Justice S. Ravindra Bhat ji, Judge Supreme Court of India, Chief Guest of the function. Honourable Former Chief Justice of India K.J. Balakrishnan ji, who is present online. Honourable Justice Poonam Srivastava ji, who spoke to the gathering. Professor Krishnadev Rao, Director IIT. Ram Gopal Rao ji, and Professor Krishnadev Rao, the Vice Chancellor of the National Law University, the esteemed members present in the hall, and eminent professors of IIT Delhi. Sir, I take opportunity of welcoming you to this August gathering. Sir has spared his valuable time to inaugurate the collaboration project of IIT with UJF for development of the AI lab. On this opportunity, as a member of the UJF, sir, I would like to present before you what are the other activities taken up by the UJF. Sir, this trust was registered in the year 2017. Very nascent organization, I would say. And within shortest possible time, it has been able to engage and associate many of the retired senior functionaries from the judiciary as well also from the bureaucracy. And this organization takes pleasure only in associating members from these two fields. There is no other member which has been a part and parcel of this UJF. Second, they have not opened membership to any outside person. The most important factor and the motto on which this organization is working, if I may be allowed to say so in Hindi, kam samay zyada kaam. They would like to achieve as much as possible in the shortest possible time. Second feature which distinguishes this organization is they don't receive any donation or grants from any organization. They are simply looking at the institutions and the organizations and also the projects which could not take off or which are lying defunct or which have become sick due to some reason. And then they take up those projects and put them on rails. Second objective of the society is that they enter into collaboration with premier institutions of the country like IIT Delhi, IIT Chennai, IIT Kharagpur, and also BHU. So these are the two major focus areas of activities of this UJF. Keeping in view its objectives, sir, they have just taken over the management of two old age homes, one at Hyderabad, another at Tanjavur. Both were not running well. They were sick organization. They have got the capacity of 50 each. Maybe half of the capacity is utilized as of now. So these two old age homes, they have just taken over and they have started working on that. Second important activity which they are looking at is in collaboration with the Agriculture Ministry and other organizations in the field of smart and precision agriculture. This is very important, sir. Government of India has very recently allowed contract farming. Now the farmers who are having large areas, they can enter into contract with a contractor, and they can do farming on their behalf, sell their produce to them. But in the process, since it is a contract, it may run into a lot of disputes and litigations would arise in future. So this foundation, UJF, is looking forward to cover all the activities by deploying even drones. They will be issuing guidelines to the farmers on their mobiles, when to sow the seed, when to water the plants, when to, do the fumigation so that the crops are not affected by pathogens and the pesticides. And then they will also be collecting some data. They will be capturing in case of dispute between a farmer or farmer community and the contractor, if the litigation reaches the court. So they will be able to provide that data as the basic evidence in support of the poor farmer of the country. So this is going to be the very good, important project on which UJF is trying to work. So as the time passes, we'll be able to do much in this regard, sir. Third important thing, sir, which we are doing is they are looking at e-commerce platform. They will be developing an e-commerce platform with the basic focus on the Kisan, the Swadeshi, and the Deshi material. Now, big market players, we know Amazon and Flipkart and so many other people, they hardly pay any attention and importance to the local produce and local products produced by the Swadeshi community. So what UJF is trying to do, they would like to create one e-commerce platform, sir, and they would like to take the services of the postal machinery, because through post offices, definitely they will be able to distribute the material to the doorstep of the consumer. So this is going to be very challenging and very good project, which we hope that the poor farmers of the country and this agrarian community would be benefited to a large extent, because ultimately if you produce, ultimately marketing has to be arranged. So that is one of the forward linkages on which we are trying to work. And I hope this e-commerce platform is going to be one of the very, very innovative project which will help millions of farmers of this country. Then another activity, sir, there has been taken. We have taken 5-6 colleges, institutions, which are presently under the affiliation of Balaji University in Pune. So we are trying to develop a consortium of these colleges and institutions, and UJF will be approaching the University Grants Commission, UGC, for registration of a new university, which will be under the banner of UJF. So UJF feels that in the field of academics, there's a lot which can be done. There are many colleges, many institutions where management is not able to deliver its objectives properly. UJF is looking at creating, first developing a consortium, then trying to establish a university of its own. And another activity which will be very interesting, that UJF is looking at creating some serial or some film which may focus very landmark judgments passed by the apex courts and some of the important decisions given by the honorable high courts of this country. So, of course, the script is still being written. Our Mr. Manoj Kumar Srivastava, who is working on this, he is writing scripts. They have already spoken with the eminent director Mani Ratnam ji. They have also spoken to Nana Patekar, the famous actor. Perhaps we are not at this stage in a position to disclose, due to the copyright rights, what are the judgments which are going to be taken, but certainly the landmark judgments which this country has ever seen. So they are working on that. So with this focus on our canvas, we look forward that UJF, which has launched today under your esteemed august presence, sir, this project of developing artificial intelligence lab with the IIT Delhi. I am sure, if I may be allowed to say so, if Rama is on your left side, Krishna is on right side, with your august presence, this project definitely will show phenomenal growth and prospects before the country. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. We will now play a video message by UJF dignitary to greet chief guest and chief patrons.
Good evening to all of you present here. As patron of Justice Foundation, I heartily welcome Honorable Mr. Justice R. Bhat, Judge of the Supreme Court, who is also chief guest here, and our chief patron, Honorable Justice K. Balakrishnan. I thank IIT Delhi for arranging this function for inauguration of Artificial Intelligence Lab. Artificial intelligence is the need of the hour for speedy justice from our court. I am grateful to Honorable Prime Minister of India for promising full support to use of artificial intelligence in courts and funding also to the portal created for this purpose. China has been the pioneer in use of artificial intelligence in courts, and at present also it is in an advanced scenario for the same. I do hope that India will very soon follow the suit or match China in use of artificial intelligence in India. I wish success of this function, and I do hope that the audience here will be enriched with the illustrious discourses by the learned speakers. Good day.
Thank you, sir.
Ma'am, do you want to go back to Justice Poonam Srivastava? I think she is back now.
Yes, yes. Poonamji, would you like to continue?
I don't know where I had left.
So you start from the beginning then.
Do I? Is there that much of time?
Like 2-3 minutes we can take, I think.
No, I'll just give a gist of it, whatever I wanted to say.
Okay.
I don't want to keep it lingering for. Well, the chief patron, Honorable Shri Balakrishnan ji, and the chief guest, Shri Ravindra S. Bhat, is there, and with other dignitaries, I have welcomed them. It was the privilege was that I give some outline of the whatever we are going to do or whatever has been planned in collaboration with IIT Delhi on artificial intelligence and applicability in judicial arena to promote quick redressal of justice and social cause so close to our heart. We all know that at these days, the situation of the pending cases have become such a big burden that it looks that it can never be solved for a long, long time. And for this, new ventures, new ways are being looked out in collaboration with the IIT Delhi and other such IITs in using the scientific process and others as well. Besides, I would like to take this opportunity to mention about the future projects taken by UJF in field of legal awareness campaign in collaboration with the Government of India. Scheme of Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. Besides the legal side of it, the Universal Justice Foundation has also been working as an NGO with an objective to seek welfare of the society as a whole. Judicial issues in particular, through welfare projects, introduction of path-breaking technologies developed with scientific institutions like IITs and famous institution organizations. So these are the things we think that it is a step ahead which we should all give a hand so that our expectations may be fulfilled. The large needy segments of the society to rural, far-flung areas of this great country as well. I have been informed that Universal Justice Function is also in collaboration with Chennai, Kanpur, and BUHU, IIT, and other renowned institutions by using artificial intelligence as a tool to achieve some important goals, which are a number of, besides the huge pending of cases, the health delivery system, increase agriculture productivity, to take up tasks to educate and develop the personality of persons to become worthy citizens of this country, to rehabilitate army men's widows and the family members with dignity and empower them to settle in civil society with capability and dignity. I can proudly share with you that UJF and IIT Delhi will also collaborate with work together for Unnat Bharat Adhiniyam, a program under the Ministry of Human Resource Development to take up legal awareness program on issues like women's rights, children's rights, and other basic institutions for houses, for other needs of life, for the housewives, people of rural area, by involving various institutions, 2,518 colleges and institutions spread all over India. On this occasion, I congratulate the patron and office bearers of UJF Foundation for their selfless service for the welfare of the people of this country and fulfilling certain fundamental duties which we have to perform as citizens in this great nation. It's a very, very huge task, and can only be done when all of us take a step together hand in hand. I once again thank you all for invite an opportunity to share my thoughts with you. Jai Hind and Jai Bharat.
Thank you, ma'am. I would now request Professor Ramesh Bolia to address the gathering. Over to you, sir.
Honorable Justice S. Ravindra Bhat, Chief Guest of today's event. Honorable Justice K.G. Balakrishnan, former Chief Justice of India and Chief Patron, Universal Justice Foundation. Professor V. Ram Gopal Rao, Director, IIT Delhi. Professor Shri Krishna Dev Rao, Vice Chancellor, NLU Delhi. And all the distinguished audience. It's a pleasure to speak before you. I have been allotted 3 minutes and a part of that time has already passed. So I'll make my address in exactly 3 points. The first point is, it is well known all over the world, across multiple countries and domains, that data and scientific methodology, when they come together, they create a really large impact. Transportation and health are 2 examples of areas that have benefited immensely. Law is another sector that we all feel can benefit. The first step is to have data come out. And we have not done a formal study, Justice Bhatt, so far. But I think India has taken a really large leap in that area. I think we probably are the top country in terms of releasing case summaries, that judicial data, in the public domain. I don't know of any other country myself that has released so much data out there. So that's a great first step. And I think the onus is now on all of us, the citizens of the country, academicians like us, to use that with the support of the stakeholders in this community. The second point is about IIT Delhi. IIT Delhi, as our director mentioned, has a large community of various domains that can participate in this activity. Artificial intelligence is one community that all of us know, but there is a whole lot of other communities that can chip in. Mathematical modeling, as we refer it, is one. Operations research, as we refer it, is one. Management science. All of these communities can contribute to this humongous effort. And I think with the Daksh Center of Excellence at IIT Delhi, we should be able to rope all of them in and do some fantastic research. I just wanted to give 1 or 2 examples of the kind of things that can be done. If we are given the right data and the right support, if we are given the access to cull this data out, if this data is not structured right now, one of the things that we are working on and would like to work on more deeply is we analyze the delays in the cases. We analyze what acts and sections of those cases are filed under. And we can see if there's any pattern
that leads us to believe that specific acts and specific sections are causing more delays, counting all other kinds of factors. If we really see a pattern, maybe there is a case for legal reform there. Maybe that section is just worded badly. Maybe it is just structured badly. Maybe that section is vulnerable to more delays. This is one idea that we have. Of course, we need the guidance of the judicial community and the law community to help us go forward. But one example of the kind of things that we can do and we are doing. We are analyzing check bounce cases. We are looking at case flow management as some of the other activities. There's a whole bunch of things that can be done. We really want to make sure that the problems that we choose, as well as the solutions that we come up with, are the ones that really make sense and create an impact somewhere. And as Professor Rao said, don't remain confined to some theses and papers. The last point was in this spirit, with the Dutch COE on board, with this beautiful lab on board now, we've also about to sign an MOU with NLU, putting all of these activities together. I personally firmly believe that only technology cannot create an impact in any domain, and least of all law. I think the inputs and guidance of judges, lawyers, and all other stakeholders in this community is extremely, extremely important. I personally believe AI will never be able to substitute by any stretch of imagination what the people in this community are doing. They can at best serve as support, but a very good support so that they can work with efficiency on the things that they know the best. So we really look forward to that support so that we can work on this well and take this thing forward. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I request Professor Brijesh Lal to address the gathering. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Justice, Honourable Justice Bhat, sir, thank you so much for making time. Our Director, sir, and the Vice Chancellor of NLU, and of course UJF Chief Patron, Honourable Justice Balakrishnan, sir. Thank you all for making time and attending this inauguration of an AI lab in judiciary. The idea is to get started. There is the other day we had discussions with Nomesh, and Nomesh has just talked about the use of tech in judiciary. Now there are so many things that you can do besides AI as technology in the space of judiciary. And when you move to AI as a tool in judiciary, there are again a plethora of things that are possible. The challenge that when UJF approached us was not what to pick, but was not what to pick, but rather what all things to leave, which is that one thing that can make the most difference. So the way we approached this AI in judiciary effort was that AI can be used in collecting data, in pre-processing data, in making it more useful. It can be used in the actual goings on in the court. All of that can be monitored using AI. The existing law can be interpreted using AI. The petitions and the discussions in the court can all be analyzed using AI. And then going beyond, you can either create a summary, or you can create a recommendation, or you could, in an extreme case, also pass a judgment. So the idea here was, let us look at the feasibility of AI in the area of judiciary. The Supreme Court has already taken up this initiative of digitizing court data. Now, this is a huge first step. Nothing can happen without the existence of data. The other thing about data is that data in India, for multiple reasons, is not in the form that is readily usable. It has got something to do with the way we are as a people. For example, we have extremely good traffic rules. There's no denying that. But do we follow them? We normally don't. I think something similar exists in the way we are digitizing content in judiciary, but the way it is being implemented, possibly, Nomesh earlier mentioned difficulties in getting all of the data in place to work with. So it got me thinking, we have to work in spite of the way the data is available. So the data will be amorphous in India, and this is something that we have to accept as a reality. So the mechanism that we are looking at is, well, of course, it requires good quality data, but that is not the limiting factor. We will start with data, and we will try to curate it in a manner possible, pick up a class of cases at a hierarchy level and see how it can be handled. And the results that come out from this study can then be the genesis for larger works in this space. So this is how we intend to start. A most important impact of the study is going to be how can we use structured data, which is available in a very unstructured manner, in a way that does not take away from its applicability. So I thank the audience here again. I hope that in 6 months' time, we will have some results to share. And hopefully at that time, Honorable Justice Bhat sir can spare a little more time and see the progress that we've made. But this for the moment, I would like to thank him again for making time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. May I now take this honor to introduce you all to the Honorable Chief Guest of the Day, Honorable Justice of Supreme Court, Shri S.R. Bhat ji. He studied law and completed his LLB from Campus Law Center, University of Delhi in 1982. He was enrolled as an advocate with Delhi Bar Council in 1982 and practiced in the Supreme Court, where he was enrolled as an advocate on record of the court in 1989. As a lawyer, Justice Bhat practiced in the public law, employment, education, and constitutional disputes. He was appointed as an additional judge of Delhi High Court on 16th July 2004 and as permanent judge on 20th February 2006. He was appointed as the Chief Justice of the High Court of Rajasthan on 5th May 2019 and elevated as a judge of Supreme Court of India on 23rd September 2019. He is due to retire on 20th October 2023. In his judicial career, Justice Bhat has delivered many important judgments, the most notable one being about obligation of Supreme Court and High Court judges to declare their personal assets to the Chief Justice and their coverage under RTI Act, as well as in diverse branches of civil law, such as right to let in DNA evidence in paternity suits, public interest in pharmaceutical patents, liability of internet intermediaries, trademark dilution, criminal law, capital sentence, and international taxation, among others. Justice Bhat was the first High Court judge in the country to preside over a paperless or e-court. He has presented papers on intellectual property right law and attended international conferences, including at the World Trade Organization in June 2015, and most recently at Deacon's Law School Conference on Law and Technology in Melbourne in May 2017. He was also a member of the Justice S.N. Shri Krishna Committee on Arbitration Reforms in India, set up by Law Ministry, Government of India in January 2017. I would now request Honorable Justice S.R. Bhat ji to inaugurate the UJF lab facility. Remote. Thank you, sir. We request you to address the program. Over to you, sir.
Good evening. Chief Justice Balakrishnan, Chief Patron of the UJF, Justice Poonam Srivastav, Justice A.K. Srivastav, Professor Ramgopal Rao, Director IIT, Professor Krishna Deva Rao, Vice Chancellor NLU Delhi, Mr. R.K. Srivastav, Executive Committee Member UJF, Professor Brijesh Lal, Mr. M.K. Srivastav, and Professor Numesh Bolia. I would first thank the IIT and Universal Justice Foundation for inviting me to inaugurate the lab on AI in the judiciary. It is good to participate physically in today's inauguration, a semblance of normalcy in these times. Even before I begin, I must go down the nostalgia trip a bit, because seeing Justice Balakrishnan and being part of this hybrid program takes me back 20 years ago when he was sworn in as a judge of the Supreme Court. And I had occasion to appear before Justice Balakrishnan as a lawyer. And about 15 years ago, I remember accompanying him and taking him to the High Court as a judge of the High Court when he was Chief Justice of India, requesting him to inaugurate a function when we released the first annual report of the Delhi High Court. It's good to be here with you, sir. The pandemic has necessitated that we conduct most of our judicial functioning online and finally incorporate the use of technology after far too many years of using paper-based filing systems. And believe me, we in the judiciary are paper guzzlers, and though we preach environmental justice, unwittingly we are offenders because reams and reams and tons of paper is used. The practice of law and the traditional functioning of courts has much to gain from the use of technology. Over the past year, we have seen how useful video platforms have been for online hearings, enabling most courts and even in the higher judiciary to function practically through lockdowns everywhere. The availability of e-files also makes it easier for judges to read and prepare for hearings, and access to online database and case law search platforms is useful not just for research, but also during hearings in the courtroom. Technology can also be used in efficient ways to manage judicial dockets, identify priority case types for urgent listing and case management, and ultimately enhancing access to justice. Well, there's nothing new about this, and you don't really need AI. This has been used for the past more than 12 years. Artificial intelligence, with its ability to trawl through enormous amounts of data and pick up the most relevant information, has several utilities. I will try to be brief and present the two sides of the picture. Recent and rapid progress in artificial intelligence tools means that today, these tools are deployed to analyze large masses of data, often for public functions. AI has undoubted tremendous utility, especially in our data-driven world. It reflects, at the same time, inherent biases from data set and is never divorced from how the AI is modeled and by whom. Categories of people identified as requiring special protection are subsumed by AI's quest for simplifying data, no matter that the socioeconomic realities of the demographic. And this takes me to what Professor Krishna Deva Rao said. Ultimately, the justice system is based on equity and equal protection of the law. Much depends on what the program is taught to produce. And there are a few examples of how AI has functioned. Amazon used an AI tool to research and screen applicants for employment. After 6 months, someone discovered that the program had not shortlisted a single woman applicant. The reason? In the 10-year data which was available and from which the program sifted material, there were very few women applicants. The company discarded the program. Similarly, Microsoft's AI tool, Tay, was designed to converse with customers and even joke with them while responding to queries. Tay was found to be responding with racist comments, and the program had to be discarded. This is all publicly documented. In October last year, researchers found that an algorithm being used on more than 200 million people in US hospitals found that to predict which patients would need extra medical care, heavily favored white patients over people of color. The algorithm worked on the basis of past expenditure on healthcare. African American patients incurred lower healthcare costs than white patients with the same condition on average, owing to broader socioeconomic conditions and access to healthcare. So this bias was exacerbated by AI. Similarly, the US court systems used an AI called COMPAS, that is Correctional Offender Management Profiling for alternative sanctions, to predict which offenders were likely to reoffend. The model predicted twice as many false positives for colored offenders. The nature of the beast is such that we must craft safeguards around the use of AI for public functions and ensure that the element of human discretion remains wherever required and definitely at each level where important decisions are made. This would ensure that at the very least, discriminatory decision making can be appealed and responsibility determined. Ultimately, technology must aid judicial functioning and accessibility and not create ground for further exclusion. The European Commission for Efficiency of Justice recently developed and adopted a charter on ethical use of AI in judicial functions. It required a close cooperation between research workers and legal professionals and ensuring data privacy and security. The charter refers specially to the processing of judicial decisions and data by artificial intelligence. Some tools being developed today in this regard are aimed at supporting legal professionals in performing legal research or in anticipating the possible outcome of a case brought before the court, the so-called predictive justice instruments. Others can be used to support the court in management of cases, for instance, by scanning and attributing applications to responsible court sections, or to analyze court performance. These tools can be used outside the litigation process in the framework of online dispute resolution. Recognizing the enormous utilities of AI, this charter emphasizes 5 principles to be incorporated in all such AI used in judicial systems. 1. Ensuring that the design and implementation of AI tools respect all fundamental rights. 2. Prevent the development or intensification of any discrimination between individuals or groups of individuals. 3. Use of certified sources and intangible data with models elaborated in a multidisciplinary manner in a secure technological environment for data security. 4. Make data processing models and methods accessible and understandable for transparency and fairness. And 5. Ensure that users are informed actors and in control of the choices made. It is important for us to map the possible when we talk of AI in India and its use in the judiciary. It is not as if we are starting from scratch. We have the example of AI being used by large law firms to handle complex technological disputes where you have masses, and literally it is a mountain of data. We are talking of 3 million pages. Now, how is AI used? AI is used in many of these by customizing a particular machine learning, which is sanctioned by the judge with the consent of parties. And then there is an umpire who will arbitrate their disputes, and the large masses of data are brought down. Let us say 1 million pages is brought down to 30,000 pages, which is then taken forward by the judge. Are we in a position to do that? Do we have that expertise? Do we have that kind of financial resources, except in the case of multinational disputes where this is possible, or complex patent disputes? But otherwise, this is one area. Where is it possible? Now, from what I heard in this room and even in the previous functions and events that I attended, yes, AI is a great tool. Technology is a great tool. But how does it answer the problems of the man who goes and says, I want my 5 lakhs back? You mentioned about analyzing the cases in Negotiable Instruments Act. The judge will get a choice. Well, these are the 10 cases which will be most useful. But when he reaches the point, the real challenge is, when does he reach that stage when he has to decide that? After 2 years, after 3 years, after 5 years? So therefore, and this is what the Chief Justice Balakrishnan mentioned, the sheer docket that we have, it is at the lowest levels. The common man who is most impacted will be actually out of this AI, because we are talking of developing the case. And here, what I want to say is, AI drills through data, especially decided cases, which means at the first level, at the High Court level, where we are struggling with structuring the data, and later at the Supreme Court level, where normative decisions are made. But where basic decisions are made, there is no data. facts are being found. How is AI useful there? This is where we have to look, because we have 2 crore or more cases at the lowest courts. And what is the problems? What are the problems there? And how does AI and technology help it? The reality on the system of our system is that trial courts, which are about 22,000 throughout the country, are clogged with over 2 crore cases. And some of these cases run into 20 years, 25 years. Let's assume that even these are digitized. By itself, a humongous task. The question then is, there is a process, and that process cannot be circumvented. That process of fact finding, which is through, as I said, a smaller process is discovery. The larger process is cross-examination arguments, and thereafter the judge decides the case. And we have cases, I know for this, for a fact in Rajasthan, for instance, High Court judges, each High Court judge has got something like a docket of 25,000 cases. And the lower courts, I mean, this is beyond our, and there is an asymmetry. Delhi has less, Chandigarh has less, Punjab has less, Allahabad has more. So these are the real problems. So AI will tell you how to schedule those cases. It will say the optimum number of cases that a judge can decide on a particular day, maybe 20 or 25. Are we ever going to reach that stage? Because many of these judges are dealing with 100, 150 cases. So the usual, I mean, you've heard of this dialogue, Tariq pe Tariq, Tariq pe Tariq. When do we get out of that? And what is AI's role in this and technology's role in this? I would, that this program actually focuses on that with some kind of solutions inside, maybe hybrid, maybe AI, but how do we schedule this and make that possible? Because everybody is running into Supreme Court, High Courts, etc., and trying to get hold of publicly available data, develop AI tools to make the judge's decision simpler. Nobody is saying that the judge will be substituted. Yes, it's possible in 20, maybe 15%, 20% of the cases, you might be able to decide it faster. But the fact is, we are dealing with numbers. And how do we crunch those numbers? So that is the real challenge. So coming back to the topic, it is necessary that we set up, apart from all this, an ethical framework to promote the rapid development of a form of AI that includes mechanisms preventing bias and discrimination in its design process. In the last 2 years, the Supreme Court has launched and piloted a neural translation tool, SUVAS, and more recently, a court administration tool, SUPACE. These have been aimed at easing administrative processes, bearing in mind the ethical and data safety considerations in using AI. And I might digress here. I'm a user of SUPACE, and SUPACE is a user's, what shall we say, delight, because I don't even have to have any data on my pen drive. I can directly access the court's network. I have a separate account through which I do it. I have my separate notes which cannot be accessed by any judge. It is only when I log into it that I get my notes, and I can take off literally from whatever the last date was. So it is developed on very sophisticated lines. And in my 12, 13 years as a e-court judge, I find this to be amazingly wonderful, and I'm really happy with that. These have been aimed at easing administrative processes, bearing in mind the ethical and data safety considerations in using AI. This transformative use can help streamline hearings in a more efficient way, and AI tools can be especially useful in analyzing the pendency of cases based on their type, age of pendency, and necessity for speedy disposal. The way, and one cannot attribute this only to the present AI or the way we cannot negate the past. The way data has been gathered and captured and stored. You have to go back to the time 20, 30 years back when cases were filed. We as lawyers, I remember, and now, I mean, as a judge, I see there has been a steady progress in the manner of capturing data. So today, if it is possible for me as a judge of the Supreme Court to find out exactly how many cases are there of what type from which year onwards, And this has all happened not in one go, it has happened over a period of time. As developers of AI-based tools, as many of you in the audience would be, the crucial task of designing inclusive, ethical, secure technology falls on you. Intensive research and practical expertise in this field through the AI lab here at IIT Delhi will contribute to the much needed development of AI technology that will aid the judiciary. Going forward, hybrid virtual hearings and electronic filings will be adopted at all levels of the judiciary where they are possible to implement without prejudicing administration of justice. Data security, portability, and effective tools to analyze and manage caseload will be more necessary than ever before. I hope that the AI lab is successful in meeting these needs. As in the case of everything connected with law, the effort in developing and refining tools in our context, AI, should aim at strengthening, supporting, and furthering the core values of our judicial system. The rule of law, equal protection of the law, upholding liberties, and increasing access to justice. The aim cannot merely be to view cases as numbers and statistics, but be sensitive to the fact that lives, careers, and properties of people are at stake in each case. Technology especially AI can be useful, even powerful tools to enhance the rule of law and access to justice. While developing these tools, yet we should guard ourselves against these exceeding humanity, a warning administered by Einstein. AI and algorithms, therefore, should assist the rule of law. Rule of law should not become the rule of AI or algorithms. Thank you for a patient audience, and I hope that some of these considerations that I have flagged will be kept in mind while crafting AI technologies for the use of the judiciary.
Thank you, sir. May I request Professor V. Ram Gopal Rao to present a memento to the chief guest.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Rao. I request Sri Rajiv Ji, former Chief Vigilance Commissioner and Member Executive Committee UJF, to present memento to Chief Guest and Professor Rao. Mr. M.K. Srivastava, kindly assist Rajiv Ji.
One more. Ex-CDC. Okay. Retired in 2018. Nice. Oh, Manoj, अभी आप भी खड़े होइए. वो दोनों सेम है. Same हो गया. I'll be better. Yeah. Sure. Thank you. Okay. Nice. Manoj, वो मेरा ही मीटिंग तो नाव करेंगे. अच्छा. Very nice. Thank you. Manoj, you give me one. Okay.
Thank you very much, everyone. Moving on. I now request Mr. S.K. Srivastava, General Secretary, UJF, for the vote of thanks.
Hello. I am here to extend vote of thanks to all present distinguished dignitaries, our chief guest, Honorable Mr. Justice S. Ravindra Bhat, who has kind to spare time to inaugurate the AI lab and bless us. Thanks to UJF Chief Patron, Honorable Justice Retired K.G. Balakrishnan Sir. Thanks to IIT Delhi Director Professor V. Ram Gopal Rao for all help and presiding over today's function. Thanks to VC National Law University, Professor Sri Krishna Dev Raj. Thanks to all trustees, executive members, special invitees of UJF, President Justice Kamal Kishore, Justice A.K. Srivastava, Patron, Justice Poonam Srivastava ji, Justice Vijay Lakshmi, Mr. S.K. Srivastava ji, and all present at present executive member, Mr. Rajiv, Ajit Kumar ji, Rajesh Srivastava ji, Jitan ji, and our IIT team, Professor Numesh Bolia ji, Professor Brijesh Lal ji, IIT technical team, Mr. Bhaskar, and Madam Binita Asthana ji, and all our South UGF South region team, Mr. Manoharan, Mr. Jha, and other things. All of thanks and हमें आप लोग आए इसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद और हमको आगे अब ऐसा ही आशीर्वाद देते रहें. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone, for gracing the occasion. We may please proceed for the high tea outside.
मैडम बस एक मिनट ये हमारे यूनियन के मेंबर
Poonam ma'am, thank you. The program is concluded now. Thank you.